Hello everyone, and welcome to our weather update on Monday, August 18th, 2025. Right, so I bet some of you thought, right, he's dead. That heat was way too much for him. You're wrong, I'm back, I'm alive, and ready to roll. Nothing can stop me. But yeah, on a more serious note, I've had an amazing time with family in the UK. It's been a great time to see you all. And also a shout out to Uncle Ollie, Auntie Lisa, Archie and Ivy, who are watching this video from Solihull. Also, shout out to Mila and Holly as well, my two newest subscribers. So thank you for subbing. And I'll not upload a certain video of you two trying to imitate the Statue of Liberty. I guess it's not in our genes. We're British, maybe get the Americans and they'll succeed in that, okay? Anyway, so moving on to the weather, we can see that according to the latest satellite imagery, we can see that it's quite cloudy this morning over parts of Ireland, England and Wales. This area of high cloud over Ireland is actually a weather front pushing in from the southwest. And also, along that front, we have some very big thunderstorms pushing in currently to parts of southwest Ireland. Looking at the radar map, we can see that there are some very intense rainfall rates currently pushing in to parts of Cork and Kerry, especially. Some crimson areas there show some really heavy rainfall and possibly hail as well. So if you are around here, do be aware of those. And there is a yellow warning for thunderstorms issued by Erin for I think it's Kerry, Cork and Limerick. Those three counties there, and it might be extended later on depending on the situation, or even upgraded, because these storms are in a line. They're in a line, and that means that if you see a storm, like the areas like currently under this storm here, we'll be seeing this storm. So a line of very intense thunderstorms here, a lot of rain falling on quite dry ground, honestly. So that will lead to some impacts in that part of the world there. Some showery rain also in parts of South Connacht and South Leinster, but elsewhere across Ireland and the UK it's a very fine day. Quite cloudy though, away from parts of Cumbria, the far west of North Wales, and much of central and western Scotland as well are seeing a fine day today. Nice and sunny and quite warm. And this cloud should break up as well over parts of England and Wales for the day, and that will allow some sunshine coming through. But as always, in the east of England, you'll hold on to more clouds exposed to that easterly wind. Now, that's our story, but if we zoom out and go all the way down to the Caribbean and the Bahamas, we can see we have this swirl of clouds looking very vicious indeed. And this is currently Major Hurricane Erin. Thankfully, the worst of the impacts will remain offshore of any major lands, of any major islands, should I say. But we'll be seeing some strong winds in parts of the Bahamas, for example, and many areas of like Puerto Rico and Cuba and so on. We'll be seeing some large swell from these strong winds. But thankfully, worst of the winds just around the eye of the storm are staying offshore. So if we run that through, you can see this really strong core of winds does stay offshore, but areas like, as I said, Bahamas, Puerto Rico, Haiti, Dominican Republic are at risk of seeing some large swell and some quite wet and windy weather. So with storms, heavy rain, and possibly flooding. Now, as the storm pushes northwards into the cooler waters of the North Atlantic Ocean, that we are at risk of seeing impacts from the system, either directly or possibly also indirectly. Directly would mean this powers up the jet stream, and we see a lot of wet and windy weather to end summer. Or this low makes the jet stream more wavy, more amplified, and that would mean we see more areas of high pressure building up And that might mean that we end up with quite a warm and summery end to summer. So it can go either way with hurricanes. They can make the weather very unstable and very hard to predict. So we're keeping a close eye here on Erin and how it develops. So if we look at the NHC, the forecast cone for Erin, we can see that currently it is a major hurricane just north of like Haiti, Puerto Rico, that sort of area here, and it's moving northwards over the early part of the week. It stays as a major hurricane up to Wednesday, and beyond that, it does weaken to hurricane status as it meets the cooler waters of the more northern areas of the Atlantic Ocean there. But as we head into the weekend there, it does push up north. It ends up just south of Newfoundland by Saturday, and that is when we could see impacts to our weather from Erin. More on that later in the week. But Erin is a very strong storm here, and big impacts possibly to parts of these islands here, like the Caribbean and Bahamas. And Bermuda could be in for a battering as well, but thankfully it looks like it'll miss that area for now, and most of the worst winds and the worst rain will stay offshore. Moving on to the high-res UKV, you can see that this morning it's quite cloudy in many areas, and we have some big showers and thunderstorms pushing up towards Southwest Ireland there. They're a bit more widespread on the run compared to how they are actually in reality. As you can see, they're more scattered but in a line, so if we do catch one, it will last for a while. Moving back to what we're talking about then, so we can see these showers do carry on through the afternoon in the west of the country, but it does dry up further east, and parts of the UK, many areas do brighten up as the cloud does burn back towards the east coast, but if you're on that east coast, it will stay quite drab and cool all day. And moving into the night, we can see some more showers do form in parts of Southern Ireland. These might again be thundery and heavy at times, but don't look quite as intense as the storms we're seeing now. And through to Tuesday morning, again, many areas of Ireland and the UK are starting on a cloudy, grey note. Some heavy showers pushing into parts of Ireland at times, also some drizzle pushing in towards the east coast of the UK. And again through Tuesday, some bright spells might have formed, but overall, Tuesday is much cloudier than Monday, and cooler as well, in a more easterly breeze. Now we go into Wednesday morning, and overnight towards Wednesday, some more clear spells do form. For example, Scotland sees quite a few clear spells, but that is along with a freshening northeasterly breeze, so it will be cooling down as well. Now Wednesday itself, many areas of the UK and Eastern Ireland see plenty of sunshine on Wednesday as the cloud does clear westwards, and Thursday is quite similar. Some areas of cloud coming through, but really quite a fair day, and Friday is very similar as well. A bit cloudier though for Ireland in general. As we go towards the weekend there, we can see that the clouds start coming in from a more westerly direction, and that is a hint of the jet stream starting to power up and a more westerly wind coming through, possibly courtesy of Erin, currently a major hurricane, as I said, in parts of the southern Atlantic Ocean towards the tropics there. No, sorry, the southern North Atlantic, the tropical Atlantic, should I say. The South Atlantic Ocean is way down here, and Erin's here, so that's way off, sorry. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the temperature forecast from the UKV. You can see that today be quite a bit cooler compared to how it was like last week. Many areas of Ireland, if you avoid the rain and storms, we're seeing temperatures of between 20 and 23 Celsius. But further south, under the clouds, rain and storms, more like high teens. UK, many areas into the 20 to 25 Celsius range, almost near Bristol. But on the east coast, really quite chilly, with temperatures only on the extreme coast in the mid-teens. So that's very cool, really. Going into overnight period tonight into Tuesday morning, we can see that Ireland and the UK stay quite mild overnight, away from Scotland and Northern England. Temperatures mostly in mid-teens, but Wales, parts of Scotland, Northern England, low teens, so quite fresh over there. Tuesday then, be cooler again than Monday, so highest temperatures of 18 to 22 in Ireland. In the UK, like if you're in northern and eastern Scotland as well as eastern and northern England, you're really only doing mid-teens, but elsewhere, low 20s. Now, Wednesday morning starts off quite cold in Scotland, if anything. Elsewhere, a bit milder. Wednesday itself, better sunshine on Wednesday, so more areas, I think, see low 20s on Wednesday in England and Wales. Same also with Ireland, I say about 17 to 21 Celsius there, warmest in the west. So always the easterly wind will mean that the eastern fringes will stay cooler. Thursday morning starts off very chilly, where it's clear. So like Ireland, parts of eastern Ireland see only 7 to 8 degrees. Further eastwards into Wales, Northern England, Scotland, again, single figures. A bit milder possibly in Kent, home counties and Suffolk and Norfolk there. Thursday itself, actually quite a cool day. Only from high teens through to low 20 Celsius. Best in the south, always cooler in the north. Mid-teens even in Scotland and Northern England, so that's really quite cool. Dare I say it, autumnal. And going through Friday morning, again a cool start with clearer skies, a bit milder in Ireland due to more cloud cover. Friday itself, again, high teens towards low 20 Celsius. The warmer area is now expanding northwards as a high pressure builds more firmly into the country. So we see less of an easterly wind on Friday, and that will help warm up the east coast of both Ireland and the UK and into Saturday morning. Again, cold in Scotland, but we're starting to see a more westerly airflow coming through, so getting a bit milder through Ireland and Wales and also parts of England as well. So moving on to the GFS upper air temperature and rainfall ensemble members. So you can see on the bottom line, that is the x-axis, we can see that the dates are there, and on the y-axis you can see that we have the temperatures. So bear in mind that these temperatures are for about 1.5 kilometers above us. So therefore, they'll be much cooler than those on the surface by day, especially. So currently we are above average. The red line is the 30-year average for temperatures, and each line is a run of the GFS. That is a model, and they show what each run shows for temperatures up until the 3rd of September. You see, we're currently quite a bit above average. So it is quite warm, but this is going to be the end of the long warm spell as these temperatures do slide away by, say, Thursday, Friday time. We go a bit below average then. You can see these lines are below the red line, so it's cooler than average then. And we're getting a bit warmer as well into the end of the month, but bear in mind that that is likely to be with low pressure. So therefore, a lot of rain and wind in that system. Also, the warmth will be dragged up by Erin, Hurricane Erin. So yes, while temperatures may lift up into the end of the month, it's likely to be with a lot of rain and wind. And into early autumn, September here, we see temperatures lowering back towards average and possibly below average then. So guessing cooler and more autumnal. Now you can see, so on this part of the graph here, we have these spikes, and they show rainfall. So whenever an ensemble member from GFS shows rainfall, it will show a spike. So you can see we're currently dry up until, say, next weekend, but beyond that, we have some spikes showing, and that will imply that it gets wetter and windier into the end of the month. And that is in conjunction with these higher temperatures here. So while yes, could warm up, that won't come without rainfall, is what we're seeing here. Generally, after we say goodbye to this warm spell, we don't see another warm spell for the foreseeable. So that could be the last taste of summer we see. But bear in mind, September and even parts of October can be really quite warm. So looking at the weather models, then this is the GFS operational run. So you can see we're currently under high pressure to our north. That is bringing in some easterly winds, quite warm air as well, but also quite cloudy, and a bit of low pressure to the south is bringing in some storms there. Beyond that, we see high pressure staying to the west. That keeps the wind in from that northeasterly direction. So wind comes around the high pressure like that into Ireland, the UK, like that. So a bit cooler on the east coast, but inlands, in sunny spells, not too bad. Now going into the weekend, the high pressure does go eastward. So on Friday, you can see how that high moves in. So it cuts off that easterly airflow. So even the east coasts do warm up by Friday. Going into the weekend, high pressure stays to the east, so getting warmer by that point with more of a southerly airflow and brighter as well. Now into next week, we see this is the remains of Hurricane Erin, and that will slide to our south by next Wednesday, bringing in probably quite a warm and thundery pattern there as we end August. And we start September looking very wet and windy with westerly winds and true awesome descent. Now, this with Erin is just one possible scenario. As always, these ex-hurricanes are very hard to predict. So just that is one scenario. The other charts show different scenarios, all of them. So here's the ECM. Currently high pressures to our north. It will ridge to our west and north through the week, bringing in this easterly airflow. So making it quite cool on the east coast, quite cloudy there, but further west, always a bit sunnier and warmer. And that applies also for the south of the country. And into the weekend, start of next week, that high pressure does push eastwards a bit, so getting warmer in all areas, dry and brighter as well. Erin, by next Tuesday, Wednesday, is starting to move in, but it's coming in only very slowly. So probably a bit warmer, but very wet and windy, with plenty of rain, showers, and thunderstorms through the end of the week. And that is the remains of Erin by next Friday over parts of the country there. So a lot of rain showers of that. So generally quite abysmal. And we end August and start September looking a bit dry for a time, but there's more low pressure downstream ready to push in. Here's the UK Met run. UK Met, once again, looking very warm for the time being, but that will be short-lived as the high pressure does push towards our northeast. As the high goes towards Greenland, and that's the Greenland to our northwest, should I say, the winds go into more of a northeast direction, and that allows some cooler air to just come in from the north there. So things will cool down for a bit into Wednesday, Thursday time, especially in the east. But as we go forward into the weekend, the high does push eastwards and more of a southerly wind starts to come back. So getting warmer and drier by then. But that is the point where Erin starts to threaten our shores. So this area there of low pressure will start to try and push in some heavy rain from the southwest by that point. Here's the GEM. The GEM is like this. You can see high pressure towards the west and north there for the week, bringing in plenty of dry weather, but cooler than of late, especially in the east and north. Going into the weekend, it gets warmer for all areas really, more of a southerly airflow. And by next Monday and Tuesday, we have Erin pushing in there, bringing in plenty of rain, showers, and thunderstorms for next week. So turning properly wet and windy next week. So make the most of this high pressure while it lasts. And finally, we have the icon. The icon, once again, same story really. High pressure will be staying to a west and north, bringing in these easterly winds. So bringing a chill to the eastern countries, but further west, a bit drier and brighter in shelter. And going into the weekend, we can see the high pressure just sort of starts to push eastwards. That allows a more southerly airflow to come in. We cut off that easterly, so it does warm up quite nicely. And actually, if this comes off, Bank Holiday Monday for the UK. That's the August Bank Holiday, the last Monday of August for the UK at least. It looks very decent, really. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Quite interesting with how Erin is doing. So as I said, a very close eye has to be kept on the system, as it does have the potential to impact the weather quite strongly towards the end of August and start of September. Could be warm and dry. So the icon looks pretty stable actually with that area of high pressure. So if we ran that on a bit further, I feel like Erin might struggle with that because that looks quite firm. Everyone, thanks for watching. I'll see you and bye for now.